Seneca writes in his letters that the common error is to believe life is short, when in truth, life is long enough if well used. Our days slip away not because time fails, but because we fail to seize it. He observes that many live as if they will never die, distracted by endless business and trivial pursuits. Yet this constant activity often leaves the mind exhausted and the spirit empty. Musonius Rufus, a contemporary, praised a life of unremitting activity, but one formed for purpose, engaged fully, yet without breaking down or losing sight of what matters. Seneca counsels that the first step is to understand what a happy life truly is, to know what we aim for. Without this clarity, our haste only drives us further from the journey's end. He reminds us that the greatest loss is not time itself, but the failure to use it wisely. The days we waste cannot be recovered. They vanish silently, unnoticed until too late. Thus, the consolation is not in gaining more time, but in reclaiming the time we have. To live fully is to live with intention, to guard our moments as the most precious possession. Seneca writes in On the Shortness of Life that life is long if one knows how to use it. Yet most squander their days in pursuits that do not nourish the soul, mistaking busy activity for true living. He reminds us that many are deceived by the mere passing of years, failing to grasp that time wasted is irretrievable. Life's true measure is found in the deliberate choice to live with purpose and virtue. In his letters, Seneca faced the turmoil of imperial favor and exile, yet preserved a serene spirit. His example teaches that external fortune does not lengthen life's worth, integrity and wisdom do. He counsels us to swim with the stream of the world, however polluted, not to abandon our principles, but to meet the present moment with calm and earnestness, doing what duty requires. Thus, the true extension of life lies in the heart's capacity to improve itself and others, to face adversity without losing sight of virtue. This is the legacy that outlasts the years. Remember, then, that the length of life is a poor measure. What endures is the courage to meet each day with reason and kindness, the quiet triumph of a soul well tended. Some people are never at quiet, others are always so, and both are to blame. One appears lively but is restless and agitated, the other seems moderate but is merely drowsy and inactive. Seneca writes this in his Letters from a Stoic. Nature ordains both motion and rest, day and night, yet many shift endlessly from one thing to another, while others pass life in uneasy sleep. This imbalance breeds discontent, a life displeased with itself. Seneca reflects on the burden of superfluities, quoting Attalus, "More than we use is more than we need, and only a burden to the bearer." This excess distracts us from what truly matters. We labor under inordinate desires, either timid and fearful or recklessly hopeful. This constant agitation leaves us suspended in uncertainty, never settled, never free. Seneca's counsel is gentle but firm. To deny ourselves certain delicacies and to live on a simple diet is to guard our spirits against needless disturbance. This restraint is a path to peace. In the end, what remains is not the lost hours, but the quiet dignity of a life lived with moderation. Seneca's voice, even in his final moments, calls us to this sober felicity. Seneca writes that life is not short by nature, but that many squander their time in pursuits that lack meaning. The greatest injustice is to spend our days as if we had a surplus, when in truth, time is the one resource we cannot replenish. He observes that men often live as if they will never die, neglecting to seize the present. Instead of mastering their own hours, they drift along with the polluted stream of the world, losing the moments that belong to them alone. Seneca counsels endurance and self-contemplation, rising above external circumstances. The wise person remains indifferent to events beyond their control, focusing instead on cultivating their inner life and carefully using their time. This teaching comes from a man who knew the conflict between principle and compromise. Yet he preserved serenity by holding fast to the objective claims of virtue and truth, even when the world around him was unsteady and corrupt. To reclaim your time tonight is to choose to swim against the current, however polluted it might be. It is the quiet act of refusing to surrender your life's moments to distraction or delay, standing firm in the stewardship of your own existence.